$1,435 a month. That's what the VA can pay a veteran for an eye disease that quietly took their sight, and nothing. Not $1 for the glasses you've worn since basic training. Same pair of eyes, opposite answer, and almost nobody can tell you why, so here's the promise I'll keep by the end. There's one form, filed on one day, that can backdate your pay a full year, and a couple of boxes on it you cannot afford to fumble. Stick around, and I'll walk you right to them.
I'm Isabella. One distinction, drawn into the rules a century ago, decides everything here. Some eye problems are things you are simply born with. The rest are diseases and injuries that service or time did to you.
Hi, I'm Jasmine. Look at how the rulebook says it, word for word. It calls nearsightedness, farsightedness, and astigmatism refractive error, and it states they are not diseases or injuries. The receipts say it plainly, so the VA won't pay you for them. Not because it's cruel, but because the regulation says they aren't a service injury at all.
Okay here. Careful though. The other bucket is where the money actually lives. Glaucoma, cataracts, dry eye, double vision. Real damage in that column rates 30%, 60%, sometimes higher. That's $550 a month, climbing to $1,435 per month for the same eyes the glasses wouldn't pay for.
And there's a side door people walk right past. Even if the disease itself showed up after service, a service-connected condition or a service injury to the eye can pull it in. Diabetes is the classic one. Hold that thought. We'll open that door in a minute.
This lives inside the VA's rating schedule, its official rulebook, where every condition gets a code and a percentage. So nothing we say today is opinion. It's the schedule, and we'll name the exact codes as we go.
Before I hand this to the panel, one question shows up under every eye video we make, so I'll read it straight off the feed. Quote, if the VA gives me the glasses for free at the clinic, why won't it pay me a dime for needing them? Fair question, and the answer is the whole video. Free glasses through healthcare are one thing, a monthly disability check is another, and it turns on that born with it versus disease line. We'll walk both sides, name the 4 conditions that actually pay, and land on the one exam that decides your whole number. Everything today, plus the full conditions list and a free tools page, lives at va.professorerica.com. Let's get into it. Let's build the wall first, because it's where good claims die. On one side, defects you were born with. On the other, disease and injury. Jasmine, put the regulation up.
Take the exact words. 2 regulations, 38 CFR 3.303 and 4.9, both say the same thing. Refractive error of the eye is not a disease or an injury. And refractive error is a bigger tent than people think. Nearsightedness, which is myopia, farsightedness, hyperopia, astigmatism, presbyopia, the reading glasses one that finds all of us eventually. The regulation treats every one of them as a variation you were born to grow into, not a wound. The receipts say it flat out, so on its own, none of it pays.
So picture a wall the VA built 100 years ago. Born with it on this side, gets no check. Disease or injury on that side, gets rated. Every eye claim is really just asking which side of that wall you're standing on.
An amblyopia and a metropia, same side as the glasses?
Same side, amblyopia, the lazy eye, and a metropia, which is just the umbrella term for refractive error, both count as developmental, born with it. The wall doesn't move for them either.
Now, one fairness note, because I don't want anyone rage filing. Not paying you is not the same as abandoning you. If you're enrolled in VA healthcare, you can still get the eye exam and the glasses. You just don't get a monthly check for needing them.
So the VA hands you the glasses for free, then won't pay you a nickel for needing them.
It's a spreadsheet, not a grudge. Care sits on one line, compensation on another. Read it again slower, and it stops feeling personal.
There is one crack in the wall though, and it matters. If a service injury or a service disease gets layered on top of a refractive error and makes it worse, that added piece can be service-connected.
Wait, so the glasses part still doesn't pay, but the injury on top does?
Exactly that. the VA carves out the born with it baseline and rates only the new damage service caused. That's the consequence of the wall. It blocks the defect, but not an injury stacked on top of it.
Hold on to that wall. We're about to cross to the paying side, where 4 eye diseases each hide their rating in a different spot. Before we keep going, one small favor that actually moves the needle. If this is landing for you, tap like, then subscribe and turn on the bell so you do not miss the rest. 2 taps, completely free, and it pushes this in front of more people who need it.
Four diseases, 4 hiding places. Rate it wrong and you undersell your own eyes. Jasmine, the one that shocks people. Go.
Glaucoma, diagnostic code 6013. Here's the receipt that shocks veterans. If your glaucoma requires continuous medication, daily drops to control the pressure, the regulation hands you a minimum of 10% even before anyone measures your vision loss. Treatment alone sets a floor, and if the disease has actually eaten into your sight or your side vision, it climbs from there.
So the drops themselves are evidence. I love that. It's the way I loudly fact-check a true crime podcast. The daily habit is the paper trail. Cataracts next.
Cataracts, code 6027. Mostly a post-surgery story.
Right, and the schedule is clear on it. Before surgery or with a lens implant afterward, cataracts get rated on your vision under the general formula. But if they took the lens out and never replaced it, you're rated as aphakia, and that carries a 30% minimum on its own. The surgery outcome is what decides the number.
Then dry eye, which everyone underestimates. It's the most common complaint, and the one people assume is nothing.
And the receipts say it's rated on how hard it fights you. Dry eye runs through the general rating formula for eye disease, which counts your treatment. 1 to 2 documented treatment visits in a year is 10%. 3 to 4 is 20. 5 to 6 is 40. 7 or more is 60. The worse it is, the more care it demands, the higher it climbs.
Last one, and it's the strangest. Diplopia. Double vision. Kai, this one's rated in a way you'll actually like.
Code 6090. It grades where in your field of view the doubling happens, then converts that straight to an acuity number. Down and in, near reading rates worse than a far upper corner.
With one honest catch. If the double vision is only occasional or a pair of glasses fixes it, the schedule rates it at 0. It has to actually disrupt the vision you use to earn a percentage.
This is exactly the kind of thing you want from someone who's read the eye schedule cold. Let's get her on the line.
Glad to jump on. And you've already circled the thing that trips people. Every one of these, glaucoma, cataract, dry eye, diplopia, ends up expressed as either a visual acuity number or a visual field number. The disease is the door. The measured vision is the rating. So the single most useful thing you can do is get the exact numbers, your best corrected acuity in each eye, and a visual field test if there's any glaucoma or nerve damage. Vague notes like decreased vision don't rate. A number rates. Bring the number.
That's the consequence right there, isn't it? No number, no rating.
No number, no rating. Get the acuity and the field on paper and half your claim is already built. I'll drop off and let you run the dollars.
Appreciate you jumping on. So we've got 4 doors and 1 rule book. Next, we turn a real code into a real paycheck. A code pays nothing. A percentage pays. So let's turn glaucoma into a real check in this year's numbers.
Meet Dale, 62, Navy, and already rated by the VA for diabetes he picked up in service. A few years back, an eye doctor catches early open-angle glaucoma and puts him on daily pressure drops. Now, here's the move most veterans miss.
That glaucoma can ride in on the diabetes. The regulation 38 CFR 3.310 says a condition that's proximately due to a service-connected disease is itself service-connected. Diabetes is a documented risk factor for glaucoma, so with a doctor's opinion tying the two together, Dale's glaucoma becomes secondary, and it lands on the paying side of the wall. He didn't need it to start in uniform. He needed it to trace back to something that did.
So Dale's glaucoma climbs the same wall Isabella drew in scene 2 and lands on the disease side. Now what does it pay? Watch the gap.
Start at the floor. He's on daily drops, so glaucoma hands him 10% automatically. In 2026, that's $180.42 a month for a veteran alone. The worth it number before anyone even measures his vision.
But his last field test showed real loss in his side vision. Take that to the exam, and the measured damage pushes him to 30%. That's $552.47 a month.
So the drops alone are worth $180. The measured loss adds $372.05 on top every month.
Run that across a year, and it stops being pocket change. That's about $4,460 a year just for turning decreased vision into a measured number on a form.
And that's the part that gets left on the table.
It is. Dale filed the drops and stopped. Nobody told him the field test was worth another $370 a month. So the story goes, quietly thousands a year for a test he could have simply asked for.
And I'll say the honest part out loud. This only works because there's real measured damage. The number tracks the vision loss, nothing else. No loss, no climb.
Which puts every dollar back on one appointment in one form. That's next, including the box I promised you at the very top.
Every dollar runs through one appointment. The compensation and pension eye exam. Get it wrong, and real vision loss reads on paper as nothing, and it wants two numbers. Your best corrected acuity each eye, plus a visual field test if there's glaucoma or nerve damage.
Which maps straight onto the chart the VA uses. That familiar big E and the rows shrinking beneath it. 20/20 is normal. 20/200 is legally blind. The rating for acuity lives in 38 CFR 4.75 through 4.79, and your best corrected number in each eye is what sets the percentage.
Best corrected, meaning with your glasses on.
With correction, yes. Which is the wall again. They rate the loss your glasses can't fix.
Then the form. Where does all of it go? Reeves gave us the short version before she dropped, so let me show you the paper.
VA Form 21526EZ. That's the disability compensation application. One form does both jobs. You write the eye disease itself, and write under it if it's secondary, the diabetes, or the injury that set it off.
And here are the boxes I promised you at the very top, the couple you cannot fumble. Your legal name has to match your service record. And box 5 is your VA file number, not your social security number. First-time filers leave it blank, and getting that one wrong stalls the whole claim before an examiner ever sees your eyes.
And the back pay. That's the year you promised. Where does it come from?
The filing date, and only that. Under 38 CFR 3.400, your back pay reaches to whenever the VA logged your claim or the day you actually qualified, whichever landed second. Translation, your money clock starts the moment you hit submit. Don't wait for your vision to get scary enough to feel worth it. The day you're ready is the day to send it. Isabella pulled the sharp version of this off the comments. Isabella, put it to us.
Here it is. If the exam only rates my best corrected vision, do I even need to mention my glasses on the claim at all? So the question is really whether glasses belong on the form.
Good one, and the answer surprises people. Don't claim the glasses as your condition. They won't rate. Claim the disease, the glaucoma or the cataract, by name. The examiner tests you in your glasses anyway. Naming the disease is what opens the door. The refractive part just rides along unpaid.
Name the disease, bring the numbers, start the clock. That's the machine. Which leaves the honest question we owe you, is a small vision rating even worth the fight? Let's land this honestly. As a table, not a fight. The real question a lot of you have is whether a small eye rating is worth the paperwork. Kay lives in the math. Jasmine lives in the schedule. Let's hear both, then I'll pull it together.
Straight talk. A 10% glaucoma floor is $180 a month. Real money over time, sure. But if your vision is genuinely fine and you're only on drops, that's an exam, records, maybe a Nexus letter you pay for, all for the smallest rating there is.
Fair. But look at what the drops actually signal. A veteran on daily glaucoma medication has a chronic progressive disease. Filing at 10 now isn't only the 180. It sets your effective date and it puts you in the system before the field loss arrives. The receipts say glaucoma rarely gets better.
So you're both circling who it fits. Kai, when is it genuinely not worth it?
When there's no disease, just glasses. Don't file refractive error and expect a check. That's the one clean no.
Agreed completely, and I'd add the strongest yes. If the eye disease is secondary to something you already hold, diabetes, a service injury, then half the link is already built and you should absolutely file. That's the highest value claim on this whole board.
Okay, that one changes my answer. If it's secondary, I'm wrong to hesitate. The connection's mostly done. File it. I was pricing it like a standalone claim, and it isn't one.
And even standalone if you're on drops, at least file the 10. It's the cheapest way to start your clock on a disease that only moves one direction.
Then here's where the table lands, and the schedule backs it. Ordinary glasses, nearsighted, farsighted, astigmatism is not a claim. Don't file it. A real eye disease, glaucoma, cataract, dry eye, diplopia with measured loss is worth filing. And an eye disease that's secondary to a condition you already hold is the one to file every single time. That's the shared takeaway, and it's a rule you can act on tonight. Bring the number, claim the disease, not the glasses, and lean hardest where it connects to service. Kay, Jasmine, thank you. Let's bring it home. Here's the whole map, start to finish. The VA won't pay for the glasses you were basically born needing because refractive error isn't a disease, but it does pay for eye disease, glaucoma, cataract, dry eye, double vision, rated on your measured sight.
The piece I'm keeping is the wall, born with it on one side, done to you on the other. Every eye claim is just asking which side you're standing on.
Mine's the 10% floor. If glaucoma has you on daily drops, that alone is a rating before anyone measures a thing. The receipts say start there.
And my number is $372 a month. That's what Dale left on the table by filing the drops and skipping the field test. Ask for the test.
Do one thing tonight. Open your own eye records and hunt for a single number. A best corrected acuity, a field result, a glaucoma diagnosis. If a doctor already wrote a real number down, half your claim is built. Subscribe if you want this series to keep climbing the whole VA system one condition at a time, and every like pushes it towards someone else staring at a rating decision they don't understand. Next time we stay on the body and hide a rating somewhere nobody expects, the T's. There's a common condition the VA grades on a test you take lying perfectly still, eyes closed. Wait until you see that one. One last thing before you click away, a question for the thread. Did the VA rate your eye condition on your vision, or did you have to fight to get the field test that actually counted? This is Caroline. Thanks for watching and signing off.